Welcome back to MADMAN Review. This is your host, Mike. In a recent video, I briefly touched on the Taurus G3X and how it's related to the G3C. In this video, I'll talk about the Taurus G3C, the things about it that make it one of the most talked about subcompact pistols in its CCW weight class, the things about it you probably wouldn't like, and whether you should or should not buy one. If you've never followed Taurus anywhere online, you're probably not aware that there was a class action lawsuit filed against them back in 2016, where more than a few different pistol models of theirs were alleged to have safety defects. There were some instances where the Taurus pistols specified in the lawsuit would have an accidental discharge whenever the trigger is pulled with a safety on or whenever they're dropped or bumped. Taurus never directly admitted the alleged defects, and there were people who owned some of the gun models in the lawsuit that swear by their reliability to this day. It's anybody's guess whether the particular models in the lawsuit all have design-related flaws, or the ones that did experience accidental discharges were simply early Monday or late Friday factory runs. Lemons, basically. But the company did pay a total of $39 million, gave extended warranties, and recalled the pistols for free repairs to settle the lawsuit. Some of you loyal Taurus fans might say there is no point in talking about a lawsuit from 6 years ago that doesn't concern the G3C. Others might say I'm just like any other gun snob who loves to hate on Taurus. I assure you, I have nothing against the company. I've been a proud owner of a stainless Taurus Model 689 for over a decade, and will continue to be until I pass it on to my son. This fine revolver has a 6-inch barrel with a full underlug and a vented rib, and it can shoot 1-inch groups at up to 50 yards using factory 158 grain 357 Magnum ammo. I love it to death, but I digress. Taurus firearms had been traditionally known for their hit-or-miss quality even before they settled their 2016 lawsuit. They've had to discontinue a lot of different types of guns. I would assume some of it was due to issues integral to their designs, problems with the company's manufacturing processes, or a combination of both. But with all that said, their G2 and G3 line of pistols have proven to be some of the few exceptions so far. It'll take us an hour to talk about all the models under those two pistol families, so let's just go straight to the G3C. So, what's with the Taurus G3C? The huge majority of people who have issues with any Taurus firearm would opine that Taurus makes great wheel guns and garbage autoloaders. My take on it is generally true. The revolvers are indeed better than their pistols. But if there's one Taurus pistol I can wholeheartedly recommend to anyone, it'll be the G3C, the upgraded version of the G2C, which is a pretty good pistol in its own right. It just lacks a few things that the G3C has. When the company released the G3C, they did so without hyping it up. There was no flashy SHOT Show or NRA reveal. The C in the G3C stands for compact. It helps potential customers differentiate it from its full-size brother from the same generation, the G3. And as with all Taurus guns, the G3C's main selling point is its low price. It has an MSRP of $339.65, with street prices in the $200 to $250 range, which makes it a steal if you factor in the 3 factory 12-round mags that come in the package. As far as looks, the Taurus G3C doesn't look too plain or blocky like all Glock pistols in my opinion. From a visual appeal standpoint, except for the fact that the G2C's slide uses a standard matte black finish, while the G3C's slide uses the more durable Tenifer, the two pistols aren't too different from each other. Like the G2C, the G3C is easy on the eye, particularly when compared to its closest Glock rival, the Glock 26. It also has great ergonomics, an attribute that is baked into almost all polymer striker-fired pistol designs these days. But the G3C differs from the G2C in a few areas, one of which is the G3C's witness hole in the rear of the barrel, which acts as a loaded chamber indicator. Compared to the little mechanical bar that sticks above the slide of the G2C when it has a bullet chambered, the G3C's witness hole allows for a much simpler way of checking the gun's chamber. Unlike the G2C's mechanical bar, the G3C's loaded chamber indicator won't get in your way in case you want slide cuts for Glock aftermarket sights, which, by the way, is a default feature of the G3C Toro version. Other additional features that differentiate the G3C from its predecessor include improved front and rear slide serrations, the use of front and rear steel sights, and the company's slightly improved third-generation trigger. It's a flat-faced trigger, identical to the one in the G2C, but the blade safety sits flush. It has a long take-up, which a lot of people don't like, but it is an extra layer of safety and also lets you stage each trigger pull for more accurate shots. Whatever issue it poses is mitigated anyway by the short and crisp trigger reset, which measures only 1/4 of an inch. Combined with its DASA trigger, the G3C allows for firing quick follow-up shots without much effort. I'm sure there are some of you who find it odd that a striker-fired pistol uses a DASA trigger, which is typically only found in hammer-fired pistols with a decocker. You can share your thoughts by commenting down below. Personally, I don't find it odd, but I don't care for it either. It is the same trigger system that the PT-24/7 uses, except the G3C doesn't have a decocker. I talked about the PT-24/7 in another video. I'll leave the link in the description if you'd like to check it out. A DASA trigger gives the double strike capability, which is a subject of contention among many gun nuts like yours truly. It makes it so that if the striker fails to ignite the primer in a cartridge, the operator can just keep on pulling the trigger in heavy double action mode until either the primer goes off or the operator decides to just tap the mag and rack the slide to eject the dud and chamber a fresh cartridge from the mag for another shot. Most defensive handgun training courses these days teach people to tap the mag and rack the slide whenever a gun doesn't shoot, because it resolves all mechanical problems associated with semi-automatic pistols, which include issues with feeding, extraction, ejection, and light primer strikes. When you really think about it, the second strike capability is practically useless. The only time you really benefit from it is when you do dry-fire drills using snap caps. But if this feature comes in handy for some of you, feel free to let us know by commenting down below. As a CCW, the G3C's dimensions make it one of the easiest to conceal pistols in its weight class. Indeed, the G3C gives its much more expensive brand name competitors a run for their money in the dimensions versus magazine capacity department. Speaking of magazines, like the G2C, the G3C has also been designed to accept SIG P226 magazines, which you probably won't need because, again, the G3C comes with 3 12-round magazines out of the box. But if those 12-round mags aren't good enough, aftermarket 15-round mags, 17-round mags, and even 50-round drum mags are available online. While Taurus, for some reason, markets the hell out of the G3C as a compact pistol, just looking at its barrel length alone tells you it's a subcompact, albeit slightly bigger than its subcompact competitors. It may not be as small as the SIG P365, which started the whole high-capacity micro-compact 9mm craze, but it doesn't have to be, because the SIG P365 only has 10 rounds in its factory mag. With the G3C's factory mag, you do get 2 additional rounds in the mag. The SIG P365 Micro Compact has a barrel length of 3.1 inches, giving it an overall length of 5.8 inches, a width of 1.06 inches, and an overall height of 4.3 inches. By comparison, the Taurus G3C's barrel length is 3.2 inches, resulting in an overall length of 6.3 inches. Comparing overall length, the G3C is half an inch longer than the SIG P365. It's also 24/100ths of an inch wider and 8/10ths of an inch taller, which on paper makes it look like it's going to be significantly harder to conceal than the SIG P365. Unless you're of small stature and you're in a situation that doesn't allow you to wear a coat or any thick clothing, you shouldn't have issues carrying a G3C concealed, even when you can only afford a budget holster like the Galco Tuck & Go. But as with every commercial product you can think of, the Taurus G3C isn't without its downsides. Like all subcompact and ultra-compact pistols, if you have big hands, you may end up hating the short grip of the G3C. It can be somewhat alleviated by using any of the longer aftermarket mags with a mag sleeve installed, but using those would make the concealability of this gun a moot point. Also, many owners are complaining about the G3C's slide bite. Due to its superb ergonomics, this pistol begs to be shot with a high grip, which does result in less muzzle flip, effortless target reacquisition, and faster follow-up shots. Due to its superb ergonomics, this pistol begs to be shot with a high grip, which does result in less muzzle flip, effortless target reacquisition, and faster follow-up shots. But if you're not wearing thick gloves and you mag dump a box's worth of ammo, you can expect bleeding with repeated shots. But those are its only real downsides. Overall, the G3C is a great buy. If you only have $250 or less and you need a good entry-level concealed carry piece that will go bang every time you pull the trigger, the Taurus G3C is without a doubt the best bang for buck 9mm pistol on the CCW market today, bar none.